Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Look at that. We see a picture, but no gladiator guru. Oh, God, it's so funny. But look how pretty that background is. It's very lovely. So good morning, everyone. And see, we were giving everybody a tease. We didn't have you on Tuesday, and now we just show your presence, but not you physically there. So we wanted everybody like teased and worked up. We had a lot of people that missed you on Tuesday. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming from a beautiful, beautiful Southern Connecticut, where the weather has been out of this freaking world. It has been really more like sunny spring weather. It is definitely not June 1st weather, although I think today is going to get in the 80s, but we've had no humidity. We've had, it's just been spectacular as I keep hiccuping and burping. That's really attractive and nice and lovely to be speaking at the same time. But it's, for those of you that have allergies, I think you've all been really having a rough time. So anyway, I'm so glad you're here. Good morning, Milagros. Good morning, my beautiful sister, Leanne.
Buenos días.
Welcome, welcome. Go ahead, my beautiful partner, who I missed so much.
Hola, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita. Good here in sunny Florida. Although it's good, it's only 73 right now. It's been cool because it's been raining. But yes, and I apologize for Tuesday, but I was in, what is it? What's that deep sleep called? REM or something like that. All I know is I was out and it felt good. And when I was woken up by my frantic niece, oh my God, Dee, are you okay? It's 8:45. Everybody's calling. Mom's calling. I'm like, wow. Like, I was like in such a daze, and they're like, Viva. So I said, what time is it? She's like, 8:43. I said, Lori got this. Because one thing that I know about myself is I don't like go crazy. What I had been doing was when I worked a double and then the next night slept in a little, I was feeling guilty until I had a very serious and in-depth conversation with myself. And I said, no mas, I'm tired. That's the bottom line. That's how my body heals. You know, it's just part of loving my body. So with that, and I felt bad for the badass Buddha because she had no knowing, obviously, because I was in a whole
I was just worried.
realm.
I was just worried.
I was in a whole other realm apart from any humans. And
she was in another dimension.
Yes. And so that's just part of not playing small anymore for me, is not exhausting myself beyond measure, whether it be thinking, planning, fearing, and putting myself with anxiety that I never have. But, you know, just the thought of things different, which comes into this conversation, is I'm not even going to play small when it comes to my rest. And although I do apologize because, you know, we have a great record here on Viva, I really do apologize, but I do not feel guilty. It was quite obvious, and you're right, Leanne, sleep is important, and I have gone most of my life sleep deprived, where I'll take an hour and a half to 2 hour nap, and that's like if I just had like this power drink and cookie and everything rolled into one, and then I'm up for another 12 hours. And I think that's all like a psyche thing for me, because when I sleep 8 hours, I feel like an overcooked spaghetti. So it's about not playing small, which goes into these great topics. And these topics titles are all Badass Buddha this month and I was looking at them and they just fit perfect. You know, as we're riding that wave, you know, ever so patiently, ever just floating into July and August, the true summer months. It'll be good to enter those months with less, just like less clothing because it's more heat. Less baggage. Because what is the favorite thing that we all know, but we still all participate in, is doing the same bullshit every day and expecting some miraculous change. And that's called what, badass?
A habit.
Insanity.
The path to insanity.
But they are insanity are habits. Routines is insanity. You're insane because you do the same. I know this man.
Well, routines are not bad. It depends on, like, you can't be all routine and you can't be all over the place either. It's like you have to have this beautiful, beautiful coupling of.
And that's what we're talking about, because right now those limited behaviors and habits are more towards the negative side. I know this man that for 7 years ate the same bologna sandwich for lunch, the same bag of chips, you know, all the medium stuff. Like if somebody packed his lunch for kindergarten, the same fruit package, did not veer off 7 years of the same lunch. How do you do that?
That's
You know, he
definitely
said it
not
was
somebody.
easy. I didn't have to think about what to pack for lunch. It was just easy. It's not that he loved it, but it was easy. Why go out and buy ham and mix it up? Because then it's gonna throw me off my game. That's what a lot of us are afraid of, throwing us off our game. So no more playing small, even when it comes to rest. And that message, that public announcement is a boomerang back to me.
The public service announcement.
He was probably on the spectrum. Good morning, Megan. What's that?
Autism. Autism spectrum. She's saying that if you had the, because they're very habitual, they're very routine oriented, and when you veer from the routine, they get very upset.
Yeah, yep. They don't like change. Especially quick changes leaves them like paralyzed. Yeah. And this person, when I found this out, this person was 64 years old. So, okay. This is gonna be happy June 1st, mi gente.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because
this is going to be a good month.
The 6th month of the year. Can you believe we just celebrated New Year's? We were just talking about quarter plans, you know, setting your January to December quarterly, and they'll be easily achievable or easily changed. You know how when we stick to something, oh, I got a year to do this, and then we don't veer off of it, even though we know it's not good for us. At least a quarterly was better. But this month is gonna be great.
This month is, because this month is, we're going to be talking about behaviors and habits. Today we're going to start. Today is called Behavior, a pun on the word, obviously, because we're going to be talking about behaviors and how you behave. We're not going to get into the why of how you behave yet. That will be for next week. But we're going to be talking about behaviors today, and then Tuesday we'll be talking about habits. Then we'll be talking about how they interact with each other on Thursday. And then the following week, we'll be talking about who we are with regards to our behaviors and habits, and how we got there. So that will be that second week in June, or third, second week, third week. Oh my God. So second week, it'd be the full first week, so full second week. But this is really important as part of this growth phase, because if we're going to be taking July and taking action in July, you have to really, it has to do with not lying to yourself. This one, I would say, is extremely important behaviors, because I've had to really look at my own behaviors over the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 4 years, and I've had to really come to some realizations for myself. And again, it's about being truthful. Obviously good behaviors are great. We're not going to worry about our good behaviors, but it's the bad behaviors. And when we get into the why behind the behaviors, that's going to really, really be an important show, because we're going to be talking, the reason we behave badly, what's behind that. And then once you identify what's behind it, that's when you can start really making massive changes. So before we do that, let's set our intention. Let's do our mantra. And don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. We had a lot of people on the day that Ephraim and his friend were on. We'd like to see a lot of people come on as well. Good morning, Editha. We're happy that you're here. Editha is the welcome wagon for Viva. She is the
She
one
really is.
that's always like connecting people, reaching out to people, making sure they're on. We still have to figure out why people are not getting notifications. I haven't looked that up. Every time I think of it is in the wrong time. And then when I have time, I don't think about it. So anyway, okay, let's set our intention. Our intention here at Viva is to be intentional. So we would like you to be intentional. Being intentional for your day helps. Like it's like goal setting, but we don't like to use the term goal setting necessarily. It's setting the intention. I would like my day to be this today. I would like this to happen today. So set your intention for whatever it may be, and always follow it with
gratitude. Be grateful. Be grateful for everything that happens to you, good, bad, and ugly, because at the end, it's always beautiful.
Look at Edie, so that's my job. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, nobody's getting their notifications. We haven't figured out why that is yet. All right. I definitely have to go to the eye doctor. I have been trying so hard not to wear my glasses, not for any reason except I really just want to get my eyes a bit stronger. And it's interesting because I actually believe my eyes have gotten worse in the last month. So now I'm going to have to consider, maybe I really probably listen to me. I think I need some supplementation. Like I don't really take supplements like vitamins, multivitamins, that kind of stuff, because I eat pretty well. But I think I've got to up my game a little bit. So the collagen has entered my body lately. I've been putting collagen in, and I think I'm gonna have to do the multis. I have to make sure that I'm taking my A's for my eyes, and because I this is annoying. Like when I was, even the glasses are not working, so that's why I know my prescription has changed, and I have an appointment, but it's not until like the first week of July. So yeah. I want my eyes to like get better before then.
Well, I was going through some of my notebooks because I have like 15 million of them, and they each have like chicken scratch in all of them. That forms like 3 books if I took the time out. And I found this thing I wrote, and sun gazing. We're told don't look directly at the sun. It damages your eyes. It's not good for your skin. Wear sunglasses. And everything we were taught was just to do the total opposite. If you were to research people back in the day who sun gazed, that was beneficial. That was all the vitamins you need. And it also helps your vision by sun gazing every day. You don't have to sit there all day. And then they say a lot of people don't like it because then they say everything turns black when they turn away from the sun. They said all you have to do is look down, close your eyes, open it, look down again, and then raise it, and your vision comes back clear without all the light in it. And also with the vitamins, I don't take capsule vitamins, but skin magnesium, the spray. So that's what I'm doing today, is going to get the stuff that I need. So you spray it. They said the best way to absorb magnesium that you should not take vitamin D unless you're supplementing it with magnesium. But the best way is topical because the skin absorbs it quicker than your digestive tract. So thank you for bringing that up.
I'd have to look that up because the skin does not absorb a lot, but it might absorb the element. The other way too, though, is your mucous membranes in your mouth. If you put stuff under your tongue, it absorbs a lot faster than it would if you swallow it.
Of course.
That's why sometimes it's even better to do like powdered stuff, and liquefy it and then just sort of keep it in your mouth under your tongue for a little bit and then drink.
Because my vitamin D's are the ones you put in your mouth. Yeah, like a little kid. I like it that way. But yeah, just like castor oil, applied directly to whatever's bothering you over your skin is better than taking a pain reliever or something. So look into the more natural thing, because all of that grandma stuff is not new age.
No, it
It, it
worked. It
it's a
worked.
threat to big pharma,
Yeah.
and that's why it's called all these other things except what it was, God's healing plants.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
when you're so quick to pop a pill, what are you saying? Remember, the I am within the I am is God. So you gotta this for all of us. As I'm a smoker, and right now, yeah, I am a heathen, but we'll see. We don't know what I'm gonna be in a year from now. I don't know. I really enjoy that oral fixation, but what I'm saying is, we gotta find out. We gotta figure out what's good for us, as she was saying, with the vitamins and her eyes, and we all go through that. Like these black glasses that I wear, they're my Dagos. They go where I go, and they're all flimsy. These are 4+ years old. These are 2 years old. The red ones are like what, 2 months old? And do you know that I can't wear these or the red ones that I just got? Because to me, I feel like they're not the right prescription. But the 4+ year old ones that are all scratched up are perfect. I see, like, perfect. So we'll see. Pay attention to your body. That's why I said I'm not playing it small anymore. And the Badass Buddha and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about reminding ourselves, because we know about not playing small in our lives, regardless of what it is, regardless of what earrings you're going to wear that day. If you're going to shine bright, shine bright. If you want to go out there and just feel beautiful, then you don on whatever it is that makes you feel beautiful. But we forget, and we think, when you hear I'm not playing small anymore, it's about money, it's about hustling. No, it's about rest. It's about sleep. It's about
Good
peace.
point. Good point. Not playing small, you're right. We always think of it in terms of success, in terms of
Material stuff.
But you're right. Playing small, not playing small means taking charge of your life. That includes, again, it's about owning your truth. It's about not lying to yourself and being very real about your current behaviors and your current habits. Celebrating the good stuff, but also admitting to the bad stuff and saying, and then asking yourself poignant questions like, do I like that about myself? Like, if you like that about yourself, then you're fine, even if it's considered, quote, a negative behavior or habit. But if you're looking at it going, I actually really don't, then that's what's going to need to change. So let's do our mantra, and then let's get going. So here we go. Say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
Oh, I so love it when your voice is behind me. It's so much more powerful. I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt. I'll get rid of Crow Tarot. Do you know that the mantra, I'm always coming up with something, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Sometimes I read something, I'm like, damn, who wrote that? Damn, I wrote that. And it's amazing. But let me tell you something I learned the other day, and we're both like very serious with it. And Gail would know because she's an author. Protect your stuff. Protect it, whether it's a phrase, whether it's a word, like Nike did it, just do it. What are the other ones? What are the other one phrasers that are like, they'll sue you if you use it? Because people will see you, they'll hear your stuff, they'll read your stuff, especially when we're on social media and we're displaying our craft. There's people watching, and because they might not be running in the same circles with us, they think it's okay. But I went to check my, everybody remembers I have a blog, Magically Orgasmic, that I started in 2018. And I said, let me start looking to trademark some of the stuff. Viva was one of them. And I pull up Magically Orgasmic, and magicallyorgasmic.com came up. And I was like, whoa. And I said, Lori, do you know this chick? Have we ever interviewed her for the show? But hers is all about sex, and I laughed when I saw the page.
Yeah, she's a sex.
It's all about finding that magically orgasmic sex. And magically orgasmic is not about that. It's about being aroused by seeing, smelling, tasting, touching and feeling. It's about anything that we are magic, and that orgasmicness is that not going home for a while, and you go home and you're cooked your favorite meal and it touches your tongue, and your palate starts dancing and your mouth starts watering and you're like, whoo, or you have a thought and your nipples get hard, and it has nothing to do with sex. It's just your five senses. That is the magically orgasmic part of it. But still, we have to, that we're saying the mantra, and I'm loving it. I love our intentions, and I love Viva Cafe con Leche, and I love all my gladiator guru, the badass Buddha. But we got to protect it. This day and age, we got to protect everything. So with that said.
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to clean up the little comment bombing we were getting there.
Well, yeah, Gail, that's why I said magically orgasmic. It's about your five senses. It's everything starting from here, when we are what we think, we are what we eat, we are what we feel, we are what we believe, we are what we know, So again, it goes right back to what I said in the beginning. You got to remind yourself that you cannot play small in anything that is you.
Right. So with that, I know I'm going to have to head out to the bus stop for in a few minutes, but let's get started on the behaviors conversation, behavior. And then when I go, like Gladiator Guru could take it and run with it.
Oh,
so I have a definition. Yes, you need my permission.
Yes,
so I
see that.
And it's so the manner in which one acts or behaves. Okay, so it's simple. The actions or reactions in response to external or internal stimuli. One of these actions or reactions. How we behave, that we won't get into how it's come about because that's another show. However, we could just simply say that our behavior stems from when we were younger. It starts from when we were younger, what we learned from other people, what we learned by interacting with other people, going to school, any type of experience that we've had helps develop our behaviors. Life experiences, good and bad, help develop our behaviors. And then we become these adults and we behave certain ways, and that behavior becomes very solidified in us. And when we try to deviate from that behavior, it feels uncomfortable to us because that's all we know and that's how we defined ourselves. And the real ability to go above and beyond, to really own your truth, not lie to yourself, step into your greatness, all that stuff, like play it big in your life on all those dimensions. You have got to, we already started with your belief system, and now we have to go to your behaviors. How is it that you are behaving on a daily basis? So if you look at who you are and really sit with this, and we're going to ask you to do that this weekend, like seriously, we talked about the beliefs. Now we're talking about behaviors. We want you to really think about this weekend and identify your behavior. So here's some ideas. Okay. So here's some examples of quote positive behaviors and negative. And sometimes what someone would quote the public might deem as a positive behavior may be more negative to some people, or somebody might say this is a negative behavior and they might deem it as a more positive trait. Okay. But in the end, what it's about is, are you hurting yourself with these behaviors? This is where it comes down to. And are you affecting other people negatively in a larger scale? Like if you're affecting with your behavior, if you're affecting one person negatively because they don't like the way you are and blah, 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 you have to, that's where we have to stop and look at it and say, maybe that's their old other person's stuff. If I'm being assertive and somebody's getting pissed off at me for being assertive, if it's just that one person, but another person's going, no, I don't blame her for saying that. That's where I have to consider what I want and what's important to me. Yes, I can consider that other person's feelings, but you will never please everybody. Not everybody will like you. And you will always say something that doesn't sit well with another person. But what matters is in the global scheme of it. If I'm being an asshole on a daily, that's my behavior, and everybody agrees with me, then then I have to own that behavior, and maybe I'm proud of that. There's some people that are proud to be assholes. So positive behaviors.
But who determines that you're an asshole? Maybe it's the weakened person.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, because people can say that I'm mean, that I'm rude, when I'm just being honest and they don't want to hear what I have to say.
But that's what I'm saying. If a strong person is saying, wow, that person's really an asshole too. Like the person who doesn't really get fazed by stuff. Yeah. Like if somebody says to you, oh, this person was behaving this way, and they tell you the whole story, and they say, you know, was I being too sensitive? Like they're asking you the question, you're listening to what they're saying, you're going, nope, I think the other person was just being an asshole. You know, like you're looking at it objectively. That's when you could determine. But again, this is it's like you always say, Gladiator Guru. It's don't lie to yourself. You know, if you're an asshole,
be a great asshole.
Be a great asshole. That's right. And don't make excuses. Don't pretend you're not. Just be that person. So positive behaviors are things like, not limited to this, being motivated, being passionate, outgoing, communicative. Doesn't mean that outgoing is all that is. You could be very introverted and be a beautiful, it could be a beautiful positive behavior. Communicative, be humorous, but without cruel humor, like positive humor. Curious, altruistic, helpful, honest, forthcoming, calm, understanding, resilient, forgiving, courageous, optimistic, kind, great listening skills, understanding your surroundings, understanding self, discerning, happy, peaceful, driven, empathetic, compassionate, being positive, and assertive. Negative behaviors are things like bullying, guilting, shaming. Now, this could be to other people or even to yourself. Acting above others, temper tantrums, jealousy, poor listening skills, poor conversation skills, being disrespectful all the time, angry all the time, playing the victim, aggressiveness, being sad all the time, lack of motivation, and envy. And again, you know, we have to use discernment to decide what element of those are, you know, definitely positive, what are negative. What I can't wait to get into is the conversation on the why. That why when in 2 weeks, when we talk about why we behave the way we do, because that's when we really get down and dirty. So I will be back. Gladiator Guru, take it away, my friend.
Thank you. You know, we go through life believing that we want this and that, and we want to be in this in crowd because we want to get noticed. And again, that's what I say when you're seeking people, places, and things because you don't know who the hell you are. And it's okay to have a wide group of friends. It's okay to make friends. Every vacation spot you go to, you leave a connection, and you're always, you know, you reach out to that person throughout your life, because there's vacation friends that become lifelong friends, long distance, lifelong friends. What I'm saying is we tend to force ourselves to fit into places where we don't belong. And it leaves us feeling empty and less than. So then we try harder on the next venture and all this. And I say, when the behavior is finding yourself, means you have to challenge yourself. And everything that the badass read out is exactly what it is. But at the end of the day, you got to challenge yourself. Who the fuck am I? And what do I want out of life? And then you can add all the extras. You know, when you make decisions for you, do you make a decision to do something, but then you say, but what is this person going to say? And how is that one going to feel? And what if this one needs me for this and that? So you went to a tailor and you had sketched out the perfect dress you wanted. You went to the tailor, you found the you know what they call that you trace out your material. You got the right colored threads and everything. You picked it. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to express myself. I'm finally creating the life that I want. I mean, and you're starting by designing your dress and sewing it to your liking, to fit your personality. But then when it's time to sit down and sew, you're allowing all these people, places, and things to come and direct you and point and put a stitch here and maybe a button will go there. And why don't we do this? And before you know it, it's all tangled up because it's not yours anymore because you allowed everyone to come in and direct. So your behavior and your habits start to form around people's expectations. So sometimes we gotta sew that dress, and it might be lopsided, and it might be missing a shoulder pad, or maybe one sleeve is longer than the other, and the buttons that's supposed to be in the back, you come somehow sew them onto the front, but you wear that bitch anywhere, and you go out and you dress it up with jewelry, and you walk down like a runway model, and people will look. And some people will criticize, and some people will admire the piece of art that you are. But then we go and we get frightened. And what if they don't do this and do that? We can't live our lives like that. We got to live our life. Look at what Iris says. OMG, that was my life. You know, good morning, Madeline. And I think that when we set out to design our dress, for our Cinderella moment, to lead a lifetime of being just who we are, we have to take that leap of faith. We have to say, oh my goodness, I've been forcing myself to fit in places I'd never belonged. And then I sat there and complained and thought myself less than. So when you decide to stand up for the most important person in your life, shit's gonna fall off of you. It's gonna flake off like dandruff. Why? Because it wasn't yours to begin with, but you attached it to your, like the Post-it note, you just stick them everywhere. So beliefs and habits are formed, I believe, out of laziness, anxiety, fear, and the most important is abandonment issues. We hold on to things because we don't know how to let go. Because once we let go, we're the only one there is us, you. Oh my God, if I let go of all this thing, then I got to deal with me. I don't know me. How am I supposed to start that? That conversation is going to be awkward. What are we going to say? So, and that's how things happen when you create limiting beliefs and habits that keep you boxed up. And the badass Buddha read some stuff, and I hope she talks about it. But there's ways to go about believing in yourself, and one of them is make up your fucking mind to do so. That's it. I'm gonna do it, and that's it. I'm gonna ebb and flow towards my birthright. And remember, everyone you meet at the beginning isn't meant to join you at the end line, at the finish line. Maybe your purpose was to inspire them to keep going on what they were doing, and then the fork in the road came. And the only way to be separated was through a disagreement, an argument, a breakup, death. Many things happen at certain parts in your life. Sometimes we got to sit and think, well, I started this, and what happened? Because we tend to forget because the hurdles keep coming at us, so that we don't stay focused on the purpose of everything that has happened thus far. So then we start creating these belief systems that protect us from what? From your own growth. So 5 surefire ways to start believing in yourself. Mine was everything I just said. Let all the bullshit fall like dandruff. Do this. Put your big girl panties on. Make a list of what you did that didn't work and what you want to do and where you're at right now. This is what I want to do, but this is where I'm at. I want to do $50,000 worth of blah, but I got $5 right now. So I'm going to start right now with my $5. What's going to get me $5? I'm going to go to Five Below and buy me a notebook. Hopefully it's on sale for $3 and a pen. Go to the dollar store. Take that $5 and invest.
Gladiator Guru's notebook.
And yes, and I have a whole bunch coming out too of the art. But you know, that's what you got to do. But the sure 5 ways of believing in yourself is don't listen to others too much. You know, it's good to listen to people's ideas because then you know what category they belong in. Because we all belong in a category according to everyone's lives. And sometimes I'm persona non grata and many because they don't like to hear what I'm saying. Maybe I talk too loud. Maybe I curse too much. I don't know. And I don't give a fuck. 2, spend time with people who recognize your talent. They don't have to share your talent. You know, you can be with 5 very purpose-driven people and they're all doing different things that you will never consider doing, but it's the energy you surround yourself with. That gumption of, I'm going to do it regardless. I don't have no money, but my parents are going to support me. I don't have no money, but my husband got my back. I don't have no money, but guess what? I have ideas. Boom. And that makes you wealthy. Create a success log for yourself. And that's the list. Create a success log. What have you done so far, whether by fluke or whether on purpose, that has worked? And it could be something simple like matching your socks for the week. That's success to many. I like wearing mismatched socks. But some people can't get it together. So the smallest detail is a success. Am I correct, badass?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Put yourself out there and see what happens. And it's not always going to go according to your plan. You're going to start something. It's going to be, hoo-ha, yeah. And then it's going to slow down. It doesn't mean you fail. It doesn't mean you're procrastinating. It's, it's like those waves. They come up, they go down. They come up, they go down. That's life. Know what you like and be unapologetic about it. And it goes back to the first thing. Not everybody's going to like what you do. Not everybody that you share your goals with will have the same vision. And it's okay. But speak it out into existence. You know, I've been doing the 369. And in the morning, you write something down 3 times. It's like a manifestation, right? I'll give you an example. I am the first millionaire in my family, but not the last. 3 times in the morning. In the afternoon, write it down 6 times. I am, as though you're already there. I am the first millionaire in my family, but not the last. Then at night, you write it 9 times, and then you read it right before bed. So that's the last thing you're speaking, you're manifesting, you're praying, however it is you want to call it. And when you go to sleep, you're in that realm of that. When you wake up in the morning, you start believing that you're doing something great, and you repeat it. It's called 369. And you know what? It's so easy, and we forget. Like, I pray every night. Sometimes I be falling asleep in my prayer. Sometimes I go into a drama. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I went the opposite direction. And that's my conversations every night. But I'm saying, believe in something bigger than you, and then share it with those around you. And don't force yourself to fit in where you don't belong. I'm going to keep repeating that. Don't force yourself to fit in where you don't belong. Then you're going to be treated like shit, or you're going to be ostracized, or you're going to be ignored, and it's going to hinder you more. And why is all this happening? I can't believe they're doing that to me. But think how you got there. How'd you meet these people? Because you forced yourself where you didn't belong. Take accountability. Go ahead, badass.
So everything that you're talking about, I think about your reaction or response to all of that. Like, that's the behavior. So if everything that Gladiator Guru said to you makes you feel nervous, makes you feel anxious, makes you feel like, I don't know, I don't think I can do it, or motivates you, that's a behavior. If it triggers a certain emotion, if what she's saying is exciting you, if what she's saying is frustrating you, that's triggering an emotion, it's a reaction, and that's the behavior. And it's really, really important for you to really look inward and say to yourself, how have I behaved, this week, last month, last 2 months? And is it in alignment with the person that I want to be, or I believe myself to be, or I want to become? When somebody's like, when Gladiator Guru is giving you all that stuff and she's saying, like, don't listen to what other people say, you have to find your path. You have to be true to yourself. Absolutely. That's why you have to have the conversation with yourself. I believe myself to be a good person. Am I a good person all the time? Do I say the right things all the time? Do I make really good choices all the time? Hell no. I am still such a work in progress. There are many things, even over the last few months, that there were choices that I made, conversations that I had, things that I did that didn't show the best side of me. But the beauty is that I took a step back and analyzed myself, analyzed the situation, analyzed everything that's happened, how I've responded, and then said to myself, why did I respond that way? What was this? Was this a good response? Was it a bad response? Was it an appropriate response? And I played all this stuff in my head so that I can remind myself who it is that I want to be, that I truly want to be. Because I've come to the conclusion, and I told Gladiator Guru this, we were talking privately, and I said, I've had so much growth over the last 7 years, but my reality is that there's still one piece remaining that I have lied to myself about. And that piece is going to change this year, because it must change this year, because it's no longer sustainable. And when I'm around this piece, when I'm involved with this piece, and when I say this piece, it's not just like one situation, one person. It's like a conglomerate, but it's one piece. They're all very similar in nature. That I don't always like my behavior. Like I see it, I hear it, I feel it. I'm like, I am not my best version of myself. I am not the person that I want to be. And I'm not going to blame other people or other situations for triggering me. I mean, I have to be honest to say that it does trigger me. But now I have to say, well, that's because I still have not done all the work. And so if for me, I want my behavior, I want to be assertive. I want to stand very strongly in my truth, meaning that I want to align with it. Whatever I say is what I do. I want to align 100% in that. I want to feel 100% confident all the time. I want to be unapologetically courageous, and while I do a lot of those things, those behaviors come out. There's still pieces that the old Lori comes out, because the old Lori was scared. The old Lori was defensive. The old Lori was easily manipulated, and that person starts to come out, and I don't want to be that person. And that the beauty of it is recognizing all your behaviors, the good and the bad, and really looking at them and saying, I love this about me. I love this part of me. I don't like this part of me. So what we're going to do throughout this month is identify your behaviors. We're not going to identify them. You're going to identify them.
We're not going to tell you about you.
Exactly. Because we don't know everybody. We're going to have you identify your habits. And then we're going to talk about why these come about and what you can do about that. And in the process, we're going to be once again ourselves growing, because Gladiator Guru and I have talked about this. And that is all we have been doing for the last 6 months or 5 months, is everything that we've been talking about with you. We have also been practicing, and we have been growing. And so I'm very excited for this particular one, because, well, let's put it this way. When I was in Tennessee the week before, I saw a side of me. I saw the side of me that I have been longing for. There was an extreme peace about myself, even though I was busting my ass and working hard. I mean, I'm telling you, I was working hard one particular day from morning until night. I was physically exhausted, but I kept going because I wasn't stressed. I was physically exhausted and it felt good. But the peacefulness, and then what I also observed was the peacefulness in my daughter, the peacefulness in my dogs. So what that told me, it reminded me, it showed me that it's time for that big change. And the environment plays a huge role. Yes, it's an excuse. Environment plays a huge role in my behavior, but there are legitimate excuses. And when you do notice it, when you pull yourself out from a situation, whether it's your job or people that you know, or whatever it is, you pull yourself out and you feel like you can breathe, that the real you is coming out. That's significant. That's telling you, okay, you're connected to that. It's changing your behavior, not for the positive. And when you try to change your behavior to the positive when you're in that situation and you are not successful all the time, that's telling you something. So we really want you to sit with this weekend. Really identify your behaviors. If you need to cheat, go online and get some ideas. Look them up. What are examples of negative behaviors? What are examples of positive behaviors? And write them down. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Don't ask why yet. Why do I do that? Because that's going to be a natural question. You're going to look at that and you go, God, why do I do that? Why do I let people take advantage of me? Why am I always a people pleaser? Don't ask the why yet. We're going to get to the why. Just identify them.
You have to identify who the hell you are.
Yes.
And maybe there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you are walking your path, but you're unaware of it because you've allowed people, places, and things to put you in a box. Maybe being who the fuck you are right now never hindered you at all. What hindered you is your lack of self-belief, your lack of self-trust. So you're going to have to look at this from all angles, because if you're triggered all the time by what other people have to say, please look deep inside and fix and correct or remove what no longer serves you, because it's not them triggering you, it's you getting triggered.
Yes.
They must have smelled like something. They said something. And triggers are real because we all have a past. We all have past pains. We've all been hurt and abused in any kind of way, in every kind of way. You know, we're holding on to abandonment issues from our childhood with our parents. We have a lot. So people might say something that they're so unaware of your past that triggers you. Then you get upset with them, when in reality, you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
So with that, you start to grow and know who the hell you are. Because we're at an age right now where all this sensitivity shit since 2020 is just going overboard. People are focusing on the less things, and the most important things are just sitting by the wayside. So please take this time to figure out what are your behaviors and habits and how you need to rearrange that furniture in your head. And if the couch is sunk in and the leather is torn, throw the bitch away and leave space for something bigger and better in your life. I mean, we're always here to rephrase things and say it this way and say it that way and hoping that it connects some kind of way. But let me tell you something. Be real with yourself. No te engañes más. Stop blaming your mother, your father, your school, your neighborhood, your ex. Stop it. Let's just come on and be naked. Stand in the mirror naked. Be totally naked of everything we put on to hide the shit we don't want to deal with. Whether it be makeup, jewelry, clothes, designer purses that we really can't afford, but it makes us happy for a moment. You know, so be totally naked. And that way you be totally honest with who you are. And it's going to be a journey. I mean, nothing's going to happen overnight. It's a journey we're all on. The badass Buddha, I'm sure because I know I'm fucking on it. You know, because we all have traits. And, you know, mine is I'm so passionate about something that then I go from one side of the spectrum to the next. So I'm like, listen, I'll give you an example to my boss at work, who I just heard. So I said, listen, you got a minute? And I go into blah, blah, because this is what I found. And I don't see this. And I don't see that. So then the next sentence is, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. White people are being blah, blah, blah. And she just looks at me like now she don't know what to say to me. So I know that I go from one side of the spectrum to the other. But guess what? I love it. Because you're never going to sit back and say, well, what does she mean by that? Or what's this? Or what is she? No, because you're going to know where I'm coming from at all times. If I mess up, oh shit, I fucked up. Well, let me work on that. If I did great, I'm going to tell you, I'm so fucking amazing. I just like, whoo, I have orgasms all the time when I'm walking with stuff like that. The thing is, and then when I fuck up, I always do big fuck ups because I don't know how to play small when it comes to that. There's no medium for me. But the thing is, there's always work to be done on us. I can be a much better person for myself. Little habits I need to break, little things that in my most darkest, terrifying moments, I reached for, and it was there for comfort for those brief moments. And I've carried them with me. So there's stuff, there's habits, there's traits that I really, really, really do need to sever, but they're really not causing me any harm. But they are, but they're not, but they are. You see how we go back and forth? Because that's a lie. Because I love those cigarettes, but they are not good for me. So there are things we got to look into. You got to look into yourself. Stop looking out, telling me what the fuck I got to change when you got like 3 loads of laundry that are filthy right behind you and you're looking at my dirty shirt. That's what we're saying. That's the reality of it. You know, we're so quick to say, well, Lori this. Well, Margie that. So, yeah, but what about you, Iris? I'm just saying that because she's the last one to comment. So sometimes when we hear ourselves talking about people like that or talking about things like that, we need to stop ourselves like, oh, shit. What do I need to work on? Okay, let me go in.
And that's a behavior.
Yeah.
And again, that's another behavior, like even within myself, that I no longer want to possess. Because, you know, to talk about other people, you know, about other people to other people, and then talk trash about them. I've done it. I've done it so much, and I don't want to do that anymore. Like I want, because to me, I want to just let go. Like that's the type of behavior that I want to have. That's one of the many, is to just let it go. I've been working on non-judgment for a long time, and discernment has become such a beautiful friend of mine, thanks to Gladiator Guru's coaching. And I don't want to care about what other people do in their lives unless it affects me directly or my children. You know, like I don't care the choices you make, but I'm going to be very steadfast about who I am. But I don't want to be angry about it. That's the other piece. I don't want to be defensive. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be jealous, envious. I don't want it. To me, those are all those negative behaviors. I just want to be like, you do you. You do you. But also be very assertive to say, but stay out of my stuff. You know, like if you want to talk crap about me, then that's your thing. Like that's your behavior. That's how you want to play it. I'm only can be who I am. And I want to be that person that just says, I just want my peace. Like I know who I am. I don't have to put other people down to make myself better. God knows I've done it. I've done it. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to just be able to say, okay, this is who I am. This is what I learned from it. And what can I do better? One up myself all the time. What did I learn from this? And live my life, just live my life. Like, leave me alone. Let me live my life my way. I'm not going to have expectations of other people. Don't have expectations of me. Those are all behaviors. If when you're putting your list together, think about things that have occurred in your life that have caused you to flip your emotions or reactions. Like if you were in a good mood and then all of a sudden something happened and all of a sudden you got really pissed off, that's where you have to look at it. Now, sometimes being angry and pissed off is a behavior, but it's a reaction or an action. I mean, a response, but it doesn't mean that's your normal behavior. Like you could be a very calm person. It doesn't mean you can't get pissed off. Like understand.
Yeah, just because I'm 50% namaste don't mean I'm not 50% go fuck yourself.
Exactly. That's what we're
That's
saying
being
about
unreal to think that you are,
that's right.
A Buddhist monk sitting there doing that. No, they get pissed off too. They stub their toe. I'm sure they're like, ooh, and catch themselves because we're human. And it's okay to falter. Just don't fall. You can stumble because you know what? Sometimes you must lose it all to gain the most. And if you're not willing to lose everything you don't need, then how will you be blessed with the most to succeed? You got to ask yourself that. If you're holding on to bullshit, you cannot receive the blessings coming your way or the gifts coming your way. So in order for you to gain the most, you must be willing to lose it all and start from scratch. Starting from scratch at any age is the best age to start from scratch. So that question to you is, are you willing to organize in order to eliminate what no longer serves you? If you are not willing to do that, then this month's of information is not for you, because that's all we're going to speak on, believe in, and accept. You must be willing to accept that you must take a loss to accept the win.
This is going to be probably the most powerful month of not lying to yourself. Truly, I think Gladiator Guru would agree with me. Beliefs are one thing, but when you start talking about, because beliefs are one thing, but behavior is how you conduct yourself on a daily. Habits are the things that you do on a daily, okay? And all of these have been programmed. And if you when you take this hard look and you say, God, I really don't like that about myself. Like, I really, really don't like that about myself. I want to be a better person. I want to respond differently. I'll say with my kids, I don't want to be, there's certain parts of me still that get very quick tempered with my kids. Now there's reasons to get quick tempered. And then there's reasons where they aren't necessary. Now for me, I want to work on not being quick tempered, like not being quick tempered for those other reasons, like certain ones. Yes. So those are behaviors. Those are like, and I've got to stop and I've got to look at that and say, what is this doing for me? And what is this doing for my children? And so I've got to stop lying to myself. Well, I responded or reacted that way because, really? Or is it a real legitimate excuse, or is it a bullshit excuse? And I've got to tell you, I've had plenty in my life of bullshit excuses. I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be the person that really, really, truly, when it's a real legit excuse, it's a legit excuse. I want to own my truth. I want to be accountable to myself, which means I also have to be accountable to my behavior. And what is it that needs to change in my life that will help me further become the person that I truly, truly want to be, and walk in my truth, live in my truth, love in my truth. And I am so excited that I feel I'm at a precipice for myself. I feel like this is finally the year that I'm breaking through that glass ceiling. I'm really stepping into that place, not into the direction. I mean, walking through the door. And I'm so excited because I'm longing to be that person, that Buddha on the hill that is sitting there, nice and meditating. But yes, 50% namaste, 50% go fuck yourself. If I'm sitting there on the hill and then somebody comes over to me and starts poking me and says, hey, I got to ask you something. I want to be able to stop meditating. Go, would you stop? Cut it out, man. Like yell and not just go, yes, what is it that you want? You're interrupting me. You're not allowing me to be in my present moment. What
And that, but a lot of people don't want to offend nobody, so they sink deeper into something. That's why it's not being aggressive. And you have every right to set your boundaries, to say, you know what, one moment. I'm quick, and anyone who on this page who knows me know that if I'm doing something, you're talking to me, I'm gonna go like this. I'm always gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, okay, and then come back to the phone. I think that's just not my gig. I don't care if you do that, but I don't. And so I'll go like this, because you gotta, especially somebody you don't know. Like, you know, the majority of the misunderstandings with me are because of my tone of voice. So if people think that I'm angry, even if I'm just explaining my point of view, if I'm sharing my passions. So that's most of the misunderstandings that I don't feel I have to explain, define, break it down for you to understand. So a lot of people listen to me speak passionately, or me bringing my point across, and they right away, like what the Baras Buddha said in the beginning, how people are like, oh, that person's an asshole. And that's why I said, you know, not that everybody is, because they right away they don't understand me. They don't feel my passion. They don't halfway know who they are. So they're quick to say, oh, Margie's always angry. Margie's mean. Margie's rude. And I'm not. And you know what? I apologize to no one. Absolutely no one. Because you know what? Blood, tears, sweat, and suffering has created this La Margarita to always walk in her truth in the midst of the pain. So there's no apologies on my part. If I've always said, if I am not your cup of tea, okay, because I drink coffee. So you must know who you are. And if you don't, and you're trying to get there and you're working on it, bravo. If you don't feel you know the way to go, keep watching the show. So
watch it anyway.
And the thing is that, you know, love who you are through the process. You know, when you finally buy a piece of land and you got the contractors out, and all they did was lay the little bit of concrete to form your house, and you're like, oh my God, I can see it. The sun's going to come in the morning through here. Do that to your life. You've invested more than you ever will in any house, plane, car, island, into yourself. Be that excited about where you are and where you want to be. Be that solid foundation that you seek. It's already, you already own it. So let's do that.
Gail said a couple of things.
Thank you. And climb to a high point where you can enjoy your alone time. Most people won't put forth the effort to reach. You know what?
And
Leanne, I love you. I love that you are a sister hiker. I love that you know the most exhilarating, most orgasmic, most free, loving feeling of climbing to a high point. Being exhausted, trying to give up halfway, but you're like, oh, and you do it and you reach there, and it's like, this was well worth the struggle to get up here. And a lot of people won't take that venture just to even climb a mountain to get that feeling, to know it once in a lifetime. And Iris, kudos. You sent me the text yesterday. I was, out of it, but I'm glad you're getting baptized. I'm glad you're following in your belief system. It's everything we do for ourselves should be honored and should be celebrated.
Yes.
Just because the other person doesn't see the purpose of it, that's not your business.
No.
Stop making other people's opinions about you your business.
Yeah.
That's the first step to exhausting and cut, get them scissors sharpened, all the negative, self-limiting behaviors, other people's opinions, and just be yourself. Be naked, totally naked, and find out who you are. And stop loving those unloved pieces of you. Begin that process.
I also want to show one last thing too. With Gail wrote, I am burning the boat in order to let myself free on what I do not need. Burning the boat is that expression is basically you have no choice but to go in one direction. In other words, you took the boat to the shore, to the island, and you're like, well, if I don't like it here, I can get back on the boat and go back. Burning the boat means I'm not going back. I am not going back to, and in this case, we're talking about I'm not going back to being that person. If I have set forth and decided this is who I will become, this is who I am now, and this is who I want to be, and I will become this person, I will burn that boat so that nothing is going to cause me to go back to being that person. And the significance of this is that when you connect your behavior, when you connect your personality, because that's really what your behavior, your personality is coming from your behavior. When you connect them all together to your current life, and you're really looking at yourself going, I am not liking the person I truly am. Oh, maybe 50% I like, maybe 90% I like, maybe 20% I like. But if you're not 100% liking who you are, then that might have to be, you might have to burn that boat. See, in this exact scenario, my burning of the boat for me now at this point, because there was several burnings of boats, but this burning of the boat is literally an environmental change, a disconnect from situations and people, and that's it. And I'm burning that boat because that is the only way I'm going to get to the level of growth that I know I must do for myself. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it because it has to be. It's what it's going to take for me to be my definition of a better human. And that does not mean that some of the situations that I'm pulling out of, they may come back at some point in my life. I might have to go back into those, but I'm going to, the joy is I'm going to go back knowing I am a completely different person. And that means that my behaviors will be different when I'm in these situations again, if I am in these situations again. So I'm very happy to be to be burning the boat.
Yeah, it's a Viking thing, and I love the Vikings because you know what that tells me is what's been said and what is true and what I've lived. For every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. Because endings are sad yet necessary, and we try to avoid those sad endings in our lives, whether they're parting with an old car because it has a sentiment, because it was your father's, because it was your husband, or holding on to stuff and not having space, to emotions, to beliefs. For every beginning, there is an end for new beginnings. So I love that too. I love the boat scenario. It is so funny because not too long ago, my sister was here. We were talking about death and funerals and all this kind of stuff. And I said, I just want a Viking funeral. Just put me in a boat, light my ass on fire, let me float away. So remember to be who you are. Make that list. Find out what those behaviors are that are limiting you from really fully growing into your purpose, your potential to be that millionaire in your family, and open the floodgates for those behind you, your children, your grandchildren, your siblings. We can all be that black sheep of the family that takes those strides and takes the hits and takes the losses in order to win, because that's what life is about. And I think that's it. We're done for today. Gail Kraft, Beatty, I'm so proud of you. Leanne, we still got that hike pending, girl, so don't worry about it. It'll happen. And that's it. It's a badass Buddha's on the phone. So just remember that losing it all leaves room for you to gain the most. And if
I'm so sorry, we were getting a delivery, and the person was actually, thank God I answered. The person was at the wrong house.
That's okay.
So I apologize.
That's okay. So remember, you are the most important person in your life. Start living. as though it is.
Hell
Keep
yeah.
pouring into your
Enough.
own cup, and only pour when you know you have an abundance, when you have a little extra. Don't pour from your cup. Like Khalil Gibran says, eat from the bread, but not of the same loaf. For the pillars of the temple stand side by side, yet apart. That's how you have to look at everything. You're not joined at the hip with nobody. You don't share a kidney, a liver, a heart. You must do things in kindness, in gratitude, and with intention. And when you live in that manner, you're not hurting, you're not cheating anyone around you from a bite to eat or a sip to drink. You are living the life that you were born to live, and you're meeting people and you're sharing knowledge, you're sharing wisdom, you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining wisdom, you're sharing a meal. You know, you do those things, but you keep moving forward. So let's do this.
Yes. All right. So you got work to do. So have an absolutely beautiful weekend. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking about habits. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.